The effects of a drug are never about the drug alone. They are shaped by four major variables: the characteristics of the substance itself, the physiological functioning of the user, the psychological state of the user, and the sociocultural environment in which the drug is used. This is called the four-variable model, and it's critical for understanding substance use behavior. Let's break it down, because each of these factors can dramatically change what a drug does, how it feels, and what risks it brings. First, we consider the chemical properties of the drug. Is it a stimulant or a depressant? Is it synthetic or naturally occurring? How is it metabolized by the body? Drugs can be compared in several ways. Chemical equivalents, where two drugs contain the same chemical compound. Biological equivalents, where they produce the same biological response in the body. And clinical equivalents, where they result in the same therapeutic effect in actual use. But street drugs, they're often unpredictable. Two samples of the same drug, say heroin, may differ in purity, quantity, and contaminants. A pill laced with fentanyl may look identical to one that's pure, but the effects and the risks are vastly different. Unlike prescription drugs, which are regulated for dosage and purity, street drugs often contain unknown fillers or dangerous additives. This unpredictability increases overdose risk, even when the user believes they're taking a known substance. The way a drug enters the body can change how it works. This is called the route of administration. Let's define some: oral ingestion, swallowed by mouth. Slower onset, but effects last longer. Injection delivered into the bloodstream. Rapid onset, high risk of overdose and infection. Inhalation, breathed into the lungs. Quick acting, but may damage respiratory health. Topical transdermal, applied to skin, ears, eyes, or mucous membranes, like nasal sprays, patches, rectal or vaginal administration. Even drugs with the same ingredients can act differently depending on how they're taken. That's part of pharmacokinetics, which refers to how the body absorbs, distributes, metabolizes, and excretes a drug. Pharmacokinetics is the study of what the body does to the drug, encompassing these four processes. Now let's talk about what happens when multiple drugs are used together. This is called drug interaction, and there are three major types. Additive effect. The effects of two drugs simply add up. For example, alcohol and a sleeping pill both cause sedation. Together, they double that effect. Synergistic effect. The drugs multiply each other's effects, sometimes unpredictably. For example, mixing heroin and benzodiazepines can dangerously slow breathing beyond either drug alone. Antagonistic effect. One drug reduces or blocks the effect of another. For example, naloxone, also known as Narcan, reverses opioid overdose by blocking opioid receptors. Drug interactions are one reason no two people experience drugs in the exact same way. The user's physiology plays a huge role in how a drug works. Are they young or elderly, male or female? What's their weight, metabolism, liver function? A person with liver damage may process alcohol much more slowly, leading to higher intoxication levels. Someone with a genetic predisposition to addiction may become dependent faster. This is the second pillar of our four-variable model. What the body does to the drug and how the drug acts on the body is the science of pharmacodynamics. It involves understanding the mechanisms of action, effects on receptors, and overall impact on the body. A person's emotional and mental state can change how a drug feels. This includes things like mood. Are they anxious, depressed, calm, expectations? Do they believe the drug will relax them or make them paranoid? Mental health? Are they coping with trauma, stress, or a psychiatric disorder? For example, someone with depression may feel emotionally numb unless they use stimulants to feel awake or alive. This is why two people can use the same substance and have totally different experiences. Finally, context matters. Where, when, and with whom a person uses drugs shapes their effects and risks. This is the sociocultural environment. It includes social setting like being alone with friends or at a party, cultural norms such as what is accepted or stigmatized, legal status, whether the drug is illegal or prescribed, and access and availability, like is the drug easy to get. Even a person's identity, race, gender, class can influence how their drug use is perceived or policed. A white college student caught with Adderall may be seen as stressed. A black teen with cannabis may be arrested. These external factors shape not just behavior, but policy and treatment access. Drugs are grouped in several ways depending on their effects. For example, opioids are depressants derived from the poppy plant. Amphetamines are synthetic stimulants that increase dopamine. Cannabinoids affect cannabinoid receptors and alter perception and mood. Drugs can be grouped in various ways, for instance, by their chemical structure, such as opioids or cannabinoids. They can also be categorized by their origin, whether they are natural, synthetic, or semi-synthetic. Another way to classify drugs is by their site of action, meaning which part of the brain or body they affect. Lastly, we can look at their physiological and psychological effects, like whether they act as stimulants, depressants, or hallucinogens. Understanding a drug's classification helps counselors and clinicians predict potential effects, risks, and interactions. This knowledge is crucial in providing effective and safe care. As future counselors, your job isn't just to know the drug. You must also understand the person behind the substance use, their environment, and the broader context of their lives. This holistic approach will enable you to offer the best support possible. It's to know the person using it. Effective treatment requires understanding the full picture, the substance and how it works, the body and how it responds, the mind and why the person is using, the environment and how it influences behavior. This approach is called the biopsychosocial model. It's about seeing substance use as complex, not just a bad choice or a simple disease. You're not just treating a condition, you're supporting a human being in context. No two people use drugs the same way. No two lives are shaped by drugs in the same way. And that's why simplistic answers don't work. As you continue this course, remember, a drug's effect is not fixed. It's shaped by multiple variables. People use for different reasons: biological, emotional, cultural. Treatment must be holistic, personalized, and compassionate. In the next unit, we'll explore drug categories in detail, what they do, how they work, and how to recognize their impact. But for now, carry this with you. Context is everything.